Alright, so in this one, I'm talking about Agmatine, which is a substance that is sort of coming to be recognized as a neurotransmitter in its own right. And it's a byproduct of the degradation of an amino acid, arginine. And it's basically just arginine decarboxylated. That's agmatine. So, all right, what does it do? Well, it's an NMDA antagonist, and it also works on alpha 2 adrenergic receptors, and maybe some others. I know those are the two that come to mind. Like I said, it's coming to be viewed as a neurotransmitter in its own right. It seems that you actually use it in this way in your body. So, one of the things that it's been used for, I don't know, I guess maybe for a little while now, is one of these supplements is supposed to give you a pump. And I don't know why it's even supposed to do that. It actually has been shown to decrease nitric oxide production. And that is the stuff that typically you look for when you want to pump. It causes your blood vessels to dilate, and I don't know why. The only reason that I can think of that people would think this would give you a pump from a theoretical standpoint, well, there's two reasons. One of them, like the initial impetus for this, I think, was that it is related to arginine, and that, I guess, can upregulate nitric oxide production, because I think, I don't remember why, it's a precursor of, nitric oxide is a pretty simple compound. I don't know if it's a it was supposed to be a precursor for that, or whatever. It upregulates nitric oxide production, so I guess maybe because it's just, agmatine is just decarboxylated arginine, people thought that it would do the same thing, but it seems to maybe have the reverse effect. I did see somebody mention a forum that apparently the reason that agmatine would give you a pump is that it increases insulin sensitivity. But I'm thinking, if it increases insulin sensitivity, then getting a pump would probably be the least mentionable, aspect of that. I guess, like having the anti-diabetic and the longevity enhancing properties would be far more important than just worried about the stupid pump. But I don't know. I don't know if it does that or not. I don't want to get so wrapped up in theory that I don't see the results in front of me. But anecdotally, and I don't think there's been any studies on it, but anecdotally, people are all over the place. There's a lot of mixed reviews on whether or not this will give you a pump. So probably not the first thing I would try. Honestly, I'm not really too big into the bodybuilding side of things anyway. That's one area of supplementation I just never really got into. But then again, I'm not, really into bodybuilding to begin with. I mean, let's see. But that's one of the things that it's used for. I don't think it would be good for that. Another thing about it is that well, I guess any NMDA antagonist, I mentioned NMDA antagonists in my last video, and NMDA antagonism is one of those things. I guess people are looking at it for reversal or prevention of drug tolerance, particularly amphetamines and opiates. But I guess to some extent it works for any sort of drug tolerance. So I don't know how much agmatine in particular is used for that, but I know as an NMDA antagonist, that's automatically something that you might look at. Another thing is, this is actually, it's neuroprotective, I think it has some neuroprotective properties, but also here's the funny thing: it potentiates a lot of things. It potentiates it seems like virtually everything. And we're not just talking, supplements, nootropics. We're talking recreational drugs. Because there's one thing that we're going to get from all this. It might not be cognitive enhancement. We're still going to find more efficient ways to get fucked up. So, I guess at the end of the day, if we can find that, then we can say this is all worthwhile, right? But no, it's used for that. I've tried it for that. I'm not gonna lie. That was actually one of the main reasons I tried it out. Everybody, it was actually in the nootropics forum on Reddit that people were saying this, that it would enhance cannabis, so I tried it. I was a little bit disappointed. It didn't enhance it as much as I thought it would, but it kind of affects the quality of the high a little bit too. It's got kind of a nootropic-y feel to it, and for me at least, it makes it a little bit more something that I can think on. But it does have an effect. I guess it works for alcohol and Phenibut, and I get part of the appeal, I guess, is that, and I don't know what the mechanism is, so I'd have to read more up on this, but I guess some of the idea here is that people want to use less of certain things, such as Phenibut, so they would use this to enhance it so they don't have to take as much. But I don't know, without knowing the mechanism, I don't know how much it's going to help you. So, like, let's say you don't want to get addicted to something, so you use something to potentiate that so you can use less of it. Well, if it's potentiating the high, maybe it's also potentiating whatever mechanism's getting you addicted to begin with. So, I don't know. Just a general thought process that I have going on about that. And I don't know the mechanisms, I don't know the underlying things going on, so I can't really say that's what's going on or not, but it's kind of the thing that I don't fully understand, that I guess maybe I'm a little bit skeptical about when it comes to using a potentiator of any sort to avoid these sorts of negative issues that you might have with drugs. That's something that I'm interested in. I want to do a lot more reading up on that. So always something to research, right? That's, I think, most of the fun in this hobby, because you're not really going to be literally just sitting around waiting to take your next dose of something, right? I mean, the vast majority of the time, it's going to be you actually enjoying your enhanced cognition or whatever, and then I like to take the route where I just sort of reinvest it back into the research. So take stuff that makes me feel smarter and then read a bunch of stuff about nootropics, and it's just like this exponential cycle in theory. I don't think it's working out that way, but that's a theory. But anyway, I lost my train of thought. That's actually pretty much Agmatine for you, though. It does, it's a potentiator as well. I don't have a lot to say from my personal experience with it. I don't have a niche for it. If it is neuroprotective, oh yeah, I do know the mechanism of that. It prevents, being an NMDA antagonist, I guess it prevents glutamate excitotoxicity. Noopept already does this, and I'm pretty happy with Noopept already as a neuroprotectant, so I don't really think I have a good spot for Agmatine in my stack. So me personally, I guess I don't have a lot to say about it other than, the potentiation stuff. I think I'm just going to save it for when I want to give recreational stuff an extra punch every once in a while. Maybe go out for a drink and save my money at the bar, or, save my money on weed or whatever, just take some Agmatine. And it's pretty safe too. There's a lot of anecdotal studies. If you want like a more formal thing, there is a paper that I found on it. It was like a case study, so it was not like even like a real study. It was just like the two authors of the paper, they took it for an extended period of time, and this is basically just a formal antidote. But they were taking, I think, in excess of 2 grams a day, and about a gram is what I've seen used for the enhancement of other things. So, and that's what I used. I would take, like for weed, for instance, I would take about a gram about 10 minutes before I smoked. I haven't tried it with Phenibut. I've seen mixed reviews on that. I think that if you take it, because it comes on really fast, that's the thing. It only takes like 10, 15, 20 minutes to get really, I think 10 minutes even, just to get maximum levels in your bloodstream, in your plasma. And so it, it rises and then it falls, and I would think the amount of time that it takes Phenibut to kick in, I think it might be better to take it right as the Phenibut is on the rise. So I would take it, maybe an hour or two after you take Phenibut. If you're looking, I'm thinking of experimenting with that, like maybe even tomorrow. But yeah, that's pretty much the last thought that I have on that. So try Agmatine, give it a whirl. It's, in my mind, not the most useful thing to have, but it's kind of cool. I think the potentiation thing is really cool. I wasn't even looking for that, and that's what's cool when I read up about these things. You never know where you're going to end up when you're doing your research. So I looked at this stuff because I thought it was cool. What kind of nootropic effects can I get, and found out I have a way that I can enjoy recreational drugs better. So there's that for you. But be safe, as always. Have a good time. And have fun. I'll talk to you later. Bye.